All right, we ready to start? All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. And this is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been charged and arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address matters such as bond, possible arraignment, or possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I see that the SAP reset date is August the 8th, 8/8/24. Also, I want to begin by reminding everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. So govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also remind the defendants that you have certain constitutional rights. You have a right to counsel and representation at this juncture in your case, and you should know who your attorney is by now. You should also be reminded that you have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts or circumstances and the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here and they're listening, so listen to your attorneys. Who do we have first, deputies?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is going to be position number 2, Ms. Lynette Bowens.
Okay. This is 24 CR 005131J, Lynette Bowens, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
11 total, 2014 shoplifting, 07 afraid, that was NOD. Level 1.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on July 24th. There was a dispute at 2980 Jonesboro Road, apartment 313. The victim in this case is the defendant's daughter, Nordrina Bowens. She advised that she and her mother were in a dispute because of how her mother was disciplining her child. The parties started arguing. The mother tried to kick her out and struck the victim on the neck, leaving a scratch. Our office has not been in touch with the victim today. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Ms. Bowens, a stay away from the incident location, 1 day of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and the court can sound for Ms. Nordrina Bowens.
All right. Is it Audrina Bowens?
Nordrina, Nordrin.
Oh, N-O. Okay. Nordrina Bowens. Don't think I see her on here. Who's defending? Miss Bowen?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's me, Keith Cook.
Okay.
Your Honor, I don't think they can find Nordrina Bowens because it's my understanding she's in custody in another jurisdiction. We would object to the stay away. This is Miss Lynette Bowens' home, where she is currently taking care of 5 minor children. It's my understanding that those were put in her care through defects. Also, she's taking care of Miss Nordrina Bowens' children while Miss Bowens is handling her legal issues in another jurisdiction, and I'm not quite sure what those are. My client has very small income. She does some home care, but she's on Social Security. Again, we don't have a problem with no further contact with Nordrina Bowens, but staying away from maybe we should, and I'm sorry I missed this. My client currently lives at 2980 Jonesboro Road, Southeast Atlanta. Is that the location of the stairway?
That's what I have, yeah.
Okay, well, she's got an 18-year-old granddaughter now taking care of a whole bunch of kids, and Nodrina does not live there. So it's to the extent I can determine. So we would ask that there not be a stairway, that she be allowed to go home. We'd ask for no further violent contact. We would object to any anger management, and we would be seeking, well, yes, a signature bond, preferably through the jail. She's got a lot to do besides reporting to pretrial. But
Your Honor, this is a restricted charge. It can't go through the jail.
it can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Forgot. Yeah.
And Miss Bowen has a lot of grandchildren that she's caring for. How old is she again?
Miss Bowen is 63.
All right, I will order a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. And I'm going to order no further contact with her daughter, Adrena Bowen. And I will allow her to stay in her home. So she'll have to manage that if Miss Bowen, the daughter, gets out and decides to come back to that location. They're supposed to have no further contact. I'm going to have her to be at level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that'll be it for now.
Thank you.
She has her hand raised. She has a question.
Ms. Bowen, I would advise you not to speak. You can contact me if you have further questions, but you have a signature bond, so you're going to be able to sign out without putting up any money, and money won't be an issue unless you violate conditions of bond. So
I don't think it's about the case. I think she just doesn't understand something about the bond.
okay, yes.
I don't understand her coming back to the house because in my order from the course that I got my grandkids with, on this morning in our home, it's me and the 5 kids, so she can't be there. They just gave me a 3-bedroom just for me and my grandchildren.
Okay, well, she's been restricted from coming. Well, no, she hasn't. You have no further contact. And obviously there's no order that she's directly under from this court, but you can't have contact with her. So if you've got some of her kids, you're going to have to get those in her custody without coming in contact with her. And I know you have a granddaughter. I know you have some other family folks, but you can't be in contact with Nordina.
Last question.
Okay, I just wanted to say her 2 kids are there, the 2 months old and the 6-year-old. And I think the dad's supposed to come and get them, but if not, I just want to, if she get out, to come and get her kids, like with no hassle. You know, I won't give her any problem just to pick her kids up if they're not in my home.
No, you can't. Okay, but that'd be great if her dad picked them up. But if she comes to pick up her kids, then maybe your 18-year-old granddaughter can affect that. You can have no contact, none, no phone, no text, no social media, nothing.
Yes, sir.
I would just advise if she comes over to the house, you need to leave.
Okay, I do that. That'll get the kids. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to the add-on, and it's gonna be add-on number 1, Mr. Terrell Mobley.
Didn't see an add-on.
There's an add-on, Your Honor. There's probably going to be a second add-on. I'm sorry. We're having some Odyssey issues today.
You want me to go back and?
Well, someone can just read it for me. Who's my litigation manager?
Miss Champion.
Oh, there you go. Miss Champion, can you read that case for me?
It's which position is it on the add-on?
Number 1.
Terrell Mobley, case
Yes.
number 24CR005144D, charged with criminal trespass. Offense date is 7/25.
16 total. Open trespass out of the cab. Well, 2 of them. Also open shoplifting. Hold on. It might be 3. 2024 FTA, 2022 trespass. And I think the defendant is homeless. That's all.
Thank you. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on the 25th of July. It's a single count of criminal trespass. The police were called to the location. It's 372 Moreland Avenue, a 76 gas station. The owner, Mr. Paul, Paul, reported that the defendant had been at the location on opening the doors for people, soliciting money at the entrance of the location, and he had been previously criminally trespassed and was actively ignoring that trespass order. Police took the defendant into custody. His criminal history does show multiple cases. However, many of them have been dismissed, but I'm looking at 3, 4, 5 cases just within the last year and a half for very similar issues and then dismissal. So we'd be asking for a pretrial through the jail, Your Honor. And it's single count, so we would just do a $3,000 pretrial. Or I guess it's SOB. I don't get an amount. Thank you.
Okay. P.D. Cook or Kim?
Actually, this is my client. Mr. Mobley is 34 years old, Your Honor. Last 2 years, he has not had a stable job. He has been in and out of the jail. He's struggling with residential challenges, Your Honor. We are trying to connect him to get some help from social workers, to get housing resources. And he indeed has a college degree from Pittsburgh, La Maurice University or college, and he is willing to do anything to make sure that his life is all together. So signature on bond through jail will be very helpful for him to build up. We would like to ask for that. Thank you.
And is he gonna be able to stay away from this gas station?
Yes, Your Honor, he is.
I'm going to order $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the 76 gas station on Moreland. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And guess that's it for now. Stay away.
Yes.
What was that amount?
Thank you.
3,000.
2,000?
3.
3. Okay.
Go to the back one. Next, Your Honor, on the add-on is gonna be position number 3, Mr. Marcus Smith.
Okay.
Did you get the add-on yet?
I have it. Yes.
All right.
I don't have one. Can you send me one?
All right.
I don't either. Can someone send it to me?
All right. I'll send it.
Yeah, I just got it. Think it's moving slow today.
No, I just sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I would like an add-on as
Oh
well.
my God.
I'm
All right, I'll
sorry.
send it. I'll send
Okay.
it to y'all while y'all go. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I mean, Mr. Howard, somebody hasn't sent it to any of us. It's not like we just
That's
don't know.
weird. Yeah.
We didn't conspire. I tell you.
Okay.
All right. This is position 3, 24 CR 005142A, Marcus Smith, charged at 1 count of theft by shoplifting.
38 total. He been in custody since May. 2024 shoplifting, 2020 parole, 2020 shoplifting, obstruction conviction, couple of probation violations from 2018, 2015, and 16 shoplifting. That's all.
Okay. All right.
This is
Stay.
the case. This is a delayed arrest or the service of a warrant. Warrants were just obtained in May of this year. This is an incident from April. Police responded on the 16th of April, 2024 to the TJ Maxx shopping location at 650 Ponce de Leon. It was reported by Mr. Moscova there with loss prevention that the defendant had been seen and was on surveillance, walking into the location, taking clothing items and putting them inside his jacket, and then walking out again without paying. He was detained by loss prevention, but they were instructed that after detaining him for an hour, they needed to let him go, and police didn't come until 3 o'clock or 3:30 p.m. The defendant had already met with the people at TJ Maxx and provided his identification and information. So police were given copies of the surveillance, reviewed it on the scene, as well as took copies, and warrants were obtained for his arrest. He is viewed on video walking in, taking possession of $150 worth of merchandise and walking out of the store again. This defendant does have a history, and so we would be asking for a pretrial. Mr. Howard, what would be your recommendation?
That'd be up to the judge.
Okay,
Well, because why has he been in custody since May? What's the felony charge, you know?
I can go look at it. Based on his criminal history, what kind of level would he be qualified for?
Whatever the judge chooses to say.
Okay, so
It'll
we
be
would ask for,
prejudged anyway, so.
we would ask for 2 or 3. Thank you. And I'll go look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But if he has no bond, ain't no use him getting a pretrial because he'll go to SAP before he even get
Well, that's
dealt with
fine.
that one.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Because I assume, obviously, he's not going anywhere.
No, Your Honor, he has been in custody from April 17, 2024. He was at ACDC, and then he was moved to East Point, and he came back to Fulton County on May 3. So he's been in custody for more than 3 months. So this incident happened on April 16th. So the day after the incident, he has been in custody, Your Honor. I believe that he said that they're gonna go to drug courts. He has a program that starts. So we would like to ask for a signature on bond through jail and then be released to drug court that he will be participating.
He has 3 shoplifting convictions,
Not muted, Howard.
Oh, I was talking to you, Judge. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I said he has 3 shoplifting convictions in his history.
Oh, so
So
that's why it's a felony.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a $100 surety bond. I'm going to order that he stay away from the TJ Maxx, all TJ Maxx probably, in the metro area. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it.
And there is a note in the jailing screens that the 224 CR cases he has are being transferred to Superior Court.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next.
Raise your hand.
Mr. Smith, I strongly recommend you to stay silent. You have a right to remain silent.
It's about the bond now.
Okay,
What type of bond? What is it? Have to pay or?
$100. Please give me a
10%?
call. I'll explain to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You go to third row. You got it, yeah. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 3, Mr. Isaiah Brown.
Okay. This is 24 CR 005132G, Isaiah Brown, charged with 1 count of battery family violence.
I got first
Good trial.
arrest.
First, yes.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 23rd at 7130 Nunwoods Way in South Fulton. The victim in this case, Courtney Brown, is the defendant's wife. She advised that the defendant pushed her out of bed while she was asleep, wanting to talk about their marriage. The parties started arguing. She left the bedroom. She went to go upstairs. She asked the defendant not to follow her. He followed her and then started pushing her around on the stairs and held her down on the ground as she had to fight him off of her. The victim sustained a bruise to her leg from the incident. The victim was also granted a TPO in Superior Court from this incident, I believe this morning. Our office has been in touch with the victim. She states that they are married. However, she did file for divorce. They do not live together currently. They share 2 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She said ever since she filed for divorce in June, the defendant has become increasingly aggressive. She is in fear of him, hence why she filed the TPO as well. She would like no contact and a stay away. She is okay with a third-party transfer for the children, and she said the defendant will need a one-time law enforcement escort. This is this defendant's first arrest. Your Honor, the state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Ms. Brown, a stay away from the incident location. 1 day of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, a one-time law enforcement escort, and a third-party transfer for the children. And at this time, if the court can sound for Ms. Brown.
All right, Ms. Brown, what's Ms. Brown's first name?
Courtney.
Courtney Brown. Nope. All right, go ahead, P.D. Cook.
Your Honor, with the exception of the anger management, we would have no objection to the recommendation of the state.
All right. 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Level 1. 1 day anger awareness course. Stay away from the incident location. No further contact with the victim, Courtney Brown. One-time law enforcement escort back to the property to retrieve his personal belongings. And if there's visitation allowed, it must be handled and precipitated by a third party, since the parties can't have any contact. That should be it.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 5, Mr. Chambers.
24 CR 005135C. Kadir Malik Chambers, charged with 1 count of speeding, 2nd count willful obstruction, law enforcement officer, pretrial.
Possession of marijuana. Dismiss. This was jail.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident happened yesterday. The defendant was stopped by an officer doing traffic control for speeding 40 and a 25. The defendant was very upset that he was stopped. He kept telling the officer everyone else was speeding too. Why didn't you pull over all these other people? The officer asked him for his license, and then the officer returned to his vehicle to run the license, and the defendant got out of his vehicle and continued to argue with the officer. The officer told him many times to get back in his vehicle, and he didn't, and he was arrested. This is a restricted charge, Your Honor, because of the obstructions. The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial. Thank you.
All right, PD Cook.
Yes, it is since July 1st, so we would have no objection to the signature bond through pretrial services, Your Honor.
All right, I will order that signature bond through pretrial services, driving, 500 and obstruction, 1,000. So it'd be 1,500 signature bond through pretrial, no driving unless you have a valid license. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And, I guess that'll be it, actually.
What level would that be, Your Honor?
Oh, level 1.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 6, Mr. Fannin.
This is 24 CR 005141J. Deonta Fannin, charged with a seatbelt violation and driving without a valid license.
38. 38. Got an open giving false name out of Cobb County on probation for shoplifting out of Douglas. 2023 FTA, 2022 probation, 2022 FTA. Got a lot of probation violations in the history. Wanted out of Troup County. This was jail too. That's all.
Your Honor, I do need to make a correction. I thought when I read this warrant initially that it was driving without a valid license. However, upon a closer reading of it, I've actually amended the accusation to not having license on person. This defendant was pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt. He also didn't have a license on his person. His license is valid though, pursuant to the report. I believe he was arrested because he has a warrant. So the state would just ask that there be an SOB jail release to his hold.
All right. That's what I'm gonna do. Any objection, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, that'll be, 250 on the seatbelt. And I think there's nothing driving, no license on person. I think it's $15. I don't know. As far
I
as the
think it's
fine, but-
$10, Your Honor.
or 10. I knew it was something very minimal.
Nothing.
And I'll do $50 on the license. So that'll be a total of $300 signature bond, SOB jail. No driving unless he has a valid license and it seems to be valid. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 7.
Okay.
That's gonna be Mr. Garrett Gardner.
All right. This is 24 CR 005136E, Garrett Gardner, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, 2nd count of simple battery family violence. Pre-trial. First, okay. State.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 25th. There was a dispute call at 369 Sawtell Avenue Southeast. The victims in this case are the defendant's parents, Richmond and Cody Gardner. They advised they were having a conversation about the father's job. The defendant started yelling over them aggressively. He got in his dad's face. Dad pushed him away, and then he charged at his dad and grabbed him by the neck and applied pressure. The officer noted that the father had red mark handprints around his neck and some discoloration. During the scuffle, he also grabbed his mother's wrist, and she had no visible injury. Our office has been in touch with both of his parents today. Mr. Richmond Gardner states that he's the defendant's father. They all lived together at the incident location. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He's stating that while he was fighting with his son, he got on top of him to hold him down, and the defendant grabbed his neck and applied pressure. It only lasted a few seconds, and he was able to push him away. He was able to breathe and did not lose any consciousness. He states that the defendant has recently started taking a new medication for an MH issue, and he believes that the medication is making him more aggressive. He does not want any contact and would like the defendant to stay away from the residence. We've also spoken to the mother. She states that The defendant was also recently kicked out of the military for his aggressive behavior. She is conflicted about how she feels about contact because she wants to support her husband, but she also is concerned because the defendant does not have anywhere else to go. Your Honor, because one of the victims is wavering and the other wants no contact, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with either victim at this time, a stay away from the incident location, anger awareness class, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And if the court can sound for Mr. Richmond Gardner and Miss Cody Gardner.
Mr. and Mrs. Gardner, anyone on for this case? All right, Lee Cook.
Your Honor, with the exception of the anger awareness class, we have no objection to the state's recommendation.
All right. It's gonna be $1,500 for each of the charges, or $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order the 2-day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from the Stonewall Tail location. And no further contact with his parents. Make sure there's going to be the ample cooling down period. So he'll have to find somewhere else to stay.
What level would that be, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, level 1.
Level 1.
There's a question about his bond, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, are you opposed to me speaking on the matter?
I am adverse to you. You've got a signature bond. All you have to do is sign your name, and you will get out and conform with the conditions of bond, so there wouldn't be a monetary issue. Beyond that, you have to comply with the conditions. So I think you told me you would have another place to go if this were the result. So I wouldn't say anything else, Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 8, Mr. Rashad Hill.
All right, 24 CR 005137A. And he's charged with 1 count of criminal trespass.
What's his 10th arrest? Got an open ag assault, trespass damage, simple assault. It's 23 CP 217171. 2023 FTA and a probation violation. 2023 trespass obstruction conviction. 2023 simple assault DV obstruction conviction. That's all.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 12th of this year at 2586 Black Forest Trail. The complaining witness it's my understanding that he is the defendant's parents' neighbor, and they've been longtime property owners. His name is Mark Lewis. He states that his neighbor's son, who's the defendant, he issued a criminal trespass warning to him on July 2nd because this defendant repeatedly walks through his backyard and has asked him several times to stop. He finally issued him a criminal trespass warning on the 2nd, and then he called the police because he looked on his Ring camera footage and counted, I believe I counted 12 times since that criminal trespass warning that he continues to walk through the yard, including an incident, a time right after the same day he was issued the criminal trespass warning. Our office has been in touch with Mr. Lewis. He states that the defendant is his neighbor. He keeps cutting through his backyard to get to the other side of the street. He's asked him multiple times to stop coming in his backyard, and the defendant just refuses to listen. He wants no contact and would like him to stay away from his residence. Judge, you heard the pretrial say he does have an open felony case, and this defendant has 10 arrest cycles, and 5 of them have happened in the last year. He also has previous convictions for criminal trespass. The state is requesting a $500 good bond, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with Mr. Lewis, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond.
Okay. PD Cook,
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objection to the conditions. We would be seeking a signature bond. I guess if he has the previous criminal trespass conviction, that couldn't be jail. So it whatever level pretrial the court deems appropriate.
all right.
And Your Honor, I believe Mr. Lewis is on the line.
Oh, Mr. Lewis,
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
do you wish to address the court briefly today?
Yes, that was just very accurate.
Hold
He's
on a
been asking
second,
him.
hold on a second. I want to swear
Yes,
you in
ma'am.
first. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, put your hand down. And remember, this is not his trial. This is a bond hearing. Are you in fear of Mr. Hill?
My family is, yes.
Okay, do you all want to have any more contact with Mr. Hill?
That's correct, ma'am.
That
No
you do
more.
not? No more? All right, and you were gonna say something?
Well, like you said, it's his bond hearing.
Yeah, I
No more
don't,
contact.
okay. Don't necessarily get into the specific facts, to that kind of specificity. I kind of hold that to the trial or another proceeding. And what, relation is Mr. Hill to you?
Neighbor.
Neighbor, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Does he live right next door immediately or just down the street?
Right next door. My house is a corner lot.
Okay, and he keeps
And he
coming
live-
through,
Yes.
okay. I am going to, let's see, PD Cook, go ahead, and then I'll,
Yes, Your Honor. We had no objection to the conditions, and I know that having a previous trespass conviction, this would have to be through pretrial. So we would be asking for a signature bond through whatever level pretrial the court deems appropriate.
okay. All right, I will. Order a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Well, pretrial may not want to, because he's got the open cases.
Be per
What-
judge.
Mhm. Does Mr. Hill, work or anything?
Your Honor, he is not working at the moment and has no income, so a surety bond would be a difficulty for him.
But what is gonna get him to stop trespassing?
Oh, that's beyond my training, Your Honor.
I would
I
agree with
get
that, Your Honor.
You would agree with that?
Sure.
I would do it again.
And Your Honor, just based on the Ayala factors, I mean, his risk of reoffense is high. He's done it several times. And the concern is that this neighbor has gone about this several times, not, the amicable way, and has kindly asked many times and called the police. And, when the criminal trespass warning was issued before he wasn't arrested, it was issued, and he asked him to please stop coming on his property, which I don't think is an unreasonable request. And a lot of these times they've been, at random times throughout the night, like 2 a.m, various times through day. And, I can understand why that would be aggravating. And, they are neighbors. So I would ask again for a surety bond.
All right, I will order $1,000 surety bond. And with that surety bond, there's going to be the conditions of staying away from the incident location from Mr. Lewis's home. Stay away. It's got to be 200 yards away from them. No further contact. And am I saying the Lewis family or
Yes, ma'am.
who are just Mr. Lewis or the whole family? Anyone residing in that home, because he shouldn't be cutting through, so he shouldn't be in any contact with any of them, but no further contact. I'll just say the Lewis family who resides in that home, stay away from that home. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else, council?
Just quickly, Mr. Lewis, is this in the Black Forest Trail neighborhood? Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not sure he lives more than 200 yards away, so I'm not sure that particular restriction would might keep him away from the place where he lives. So I wanted to.
Well, if he can't follow the rules, he's gonna need to find somewhere else to live. You're probably right. They live closer than 200 yards, but he's got to stay away. And on the bond is gonna be 200 yards, so he doesn't want to come back to jail. I guess he needs to, if he bonds out, he'll have to find somewhere else to stay in the meantime until his case is over. I don't know what else to do to get him to stop. So we'll see what happens.
Very well. Later. Next, Your Honor,
Thank you.
we're gonna go to position number 10, Mr. Mays.
This is 24 CR 005139 I'm sorry, 139B. Andrew Mays, charged with one count of theft by shoplifting. Retrial.
60 total. Got open possession of a controlled substance in Superior Court. It's 24 PI 004255. It's a pretrial bond. Open case out of the DeKalb for trespass. Oh, I'm sorry, scratch that, trespass. 2024 trespass conviction, 2024 shoplifting, 2023 probation, 2017 shoplifting conviction, 2011 shoplifting conviction, and 01 shoplifting conviction.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's my case. This is an incident that occurred on the 25th of July this year, 2024. Shoplifting at 2539 Piedmont Road Northeast. That's a Target. Police responded and met with the loss prevention manager, Ms. Lacey. She reported that a male was observed coming in and putting multiple items in a book bag and then passing all points of sale through the exit. He was detained. The incident was actually recorded on security footage. He had concealed $457.35 worth of clothing items in his backpack. A receipt for those items was provided to law enforcement as well as the video. We would be asking for a surety bond and a stay away from the Target at 2539 Piedmont Road Northeast, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Mays, is 53 years old, and he has been living at different shelters because of his residential challenges. Your Honor, he does have a phone number and he does have a mailing address from the shelter, and we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial as he is recommended. And Your Honor, he is working at temporary agency. However, his income is still very low. He graduated from high school, and Your Honor, that's all about it. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial. Thanks.
Kim, I told you yesterday you don't listen to me. He's already out on pretrial for the drug case.
Yeah.
I apologize. But I just want to recommend him for his pretrial, Your Honor.
No, can't do that. It's gonna be a surety bond. And with that kind of history, no. So I will grant him a $2,000 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from the incident location at Target. And no, well, I don't know if there's no further contact with the Target employees. I don't know if that's overkill. So just stay away from Target.
Your Honor, he already has a $1,500 surety bond set, and even $100 surety bond, it will be a no bond to him. So I was wondering if we can just keep $1,500.
All right, 1,500 surety.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Come on, come on.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 11, Mr. Azuko.
Huh? This is 24 CR 005134H. Jeffrey Ozabuko, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
Third arrest. I didn't see any violence. He got a 2023 probation DUI conviction.
Your Honor, that's my case.
Okay.
This is an incident that occurred on the 11th of July this year. It was a delayed report. The victim in this case is Miss Polio, Pollio, or Pollo. She is on the Zoom. If you could sound for her when it's appropriate. This is a battery family violence case. Your Honor, the victim made a police report and met with law enforcement following this assault. July the 19th, she met with investigator Geraldine Muzon Hall. She reported that she was assaulted by the defendant on the 11th of July, and she had her urgent care paperwork with her. She'd suffered a concussion as a result of that assault. She said she did not report the incident immediately because she was afraid of further violence and had filed a police report or called to file a police report on the 17th of July. The victim in this case reported that the defendant became angry with her while he was drinking, and he came from behind her while she was at the sink, grabbed a beer can and struck her in the face with it. She had a bloody laceration to her ear that she received treatment for. Detective Muzon Hall on the 19th of July was able to view the ear injury at that time, even though it had been a little bit. The victim reported that she and the defendant had been living together since 2022 and that he had a license to carry weapons. A warrant was obtained on July the 23rd, Your Honor. This is a case dealing with interfamily violence. Obviously, we'd be asking for absolutely no contact, stay away from the location at wherever this young lady lives. And we would ask for a surety bond, Your Honor. He is on probation for DUI. This is also drinking related. DUI was a conviction just February 2023 out of Forsyth County. So we'd ask for a surrender of all the weapons as well. I also believe that there's been a TPO obtained and the defendant has been served or is about to be served at the jail today. Thank you.
Okay. PB Kim? Oh, I'm sorry, let Miss Polio.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you in fear of Mr. Is it Ozabuko?
Ozupko.
Ozuko?
Your Honor, I am extremely afraid for my life. This man has made it clear that he feels no remorse and believes that he will not experience any consequences. I have tried to surrender his assault rifle and Glock on several occasions to the police. I am afraid of him being released on bond and accessing his weapons to use them in violence against me. I believe from talking with his probation officer as well as Sergeant Campbell, who did the follow-up report, that the warrant for first sight has been issued today at 1 p.m. But I have been in hiding. I have missed work, and I am very afraid for my life. This man, I can't really look at him, but I am very afraid of him.
All right, I understand.
Your Honor, the stay away location address is 1714 Brewer Boulevard, Southwest.
And I want to know how the guns can be surrendered without
Hold
him.
on, just give us a moment. Just give us a moment. Thank you.
You're at the home at the moment?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you're somewhere else? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, what we waiting on?
Are we
I
waiting for
thought-
the defense? Ms. Kim, is this your client?
Okay,
Yes.
I thought
Oh
PD
my
Allen
God.
was also looking up something too. I misunderstood.
Yeah, I thought it was,
What's the address?
Oh, just, okay. I'm sorry.
okay. Oh,
Gave you about 4 hours to do that. All right, PD Kim.
yes, Your Honor. My client is 33 years old. First of all, I would want to say I feel compassionate for what Ms. Stella Polio is going through, and yet I think my client is, willing to surrender his weapons, and he is a dual citizen of U.S. and Canada. He expects that she will be moving out of the location 1714 since they no longer date anymore. Your Honor, they don't have children together. There's no reason for him to have any kind of contact with Miss Stella Polio. So we are okay with no further contact with her. He does have some college education, and Your Honor, is gainfully employed and he is working. And we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial, as this is his first violence offense. And that's about it, Your Honor. Thank you. This is misdemeanor, so I think he is entitled to have a bond.
Reasonable bond. Go ahead, Ms. Polio.
I understand that this is his first violence offense in a family domestic situation, but he has a history of violence with police, which is why he has the assault rifle. And I also want to ensure that my dog that we have gotten together, that my dog is safe from him, that he does not try to hunt down our animal or use that as a tool to get to me. But
Your
I just,
Honor, if I could just interrupt. The TPO that's in place prevents contact, prevents any going to the location, that the defendant stay away from the location. I'm assuming, ma'am, that you have your dog with you. Right. So, you know, he has no criminal history that is related to assaults on police or issues with police. We are here just to talk about your experience. And I think that the court understands at this point you've separated yourself. Your dog is not there or anywhere near this gentleman in order for him to be or her to be harmed. And the weapons issue has been identified. So I think we can, there's already an order from the court saying to stay away from the location. And I think that we're all on the same page.
And although I know this is his third arrest, did I write down a DUI probation? No? He is? What?
Yes, he's on DUI probation out of Forsyth County, I believe. It was a conviction from 2023. He's currently on probation now.
All right, I'm going to order a surety bond in the amount of $2,500. And with that surety bond, he is to have no further contact with the victim. He is to stay away from her residence or her work or wherever she may be, 200 yards or more. No contact by phone, third parties, or in any manner. All that will be written in the order. He is to have no drugs, no guns, no alcohol, no weapons while on bond. So this assault rifle needs to, once he, and if he makes bond, needs to be immediately surrendered to the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. And I say not just the assault rifle, any and all guns. He is to not have any in his possession or around him. So I don't want us to just get one little handgun. We should definitely get the assault rifle and any other guns or weapons that he has in his possession within 24 hours of his release. And I think that's it. Did I leave out anything, counsel? No? Okay.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 12, Mr. Daniel Pointer. Pay attention.
This is 24 CR 005130Y, Daniel Pointer, charged with 1 count of escape, custody confinement, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. Pre-trial.
So you had him yesterday. I don't know what happened, so I'm gonna defer to the state.
This would technically be his third arrest. It was his second arrest yesterday, but after first appearance, evidently there was an incident at the jail.
And he tried to escape, or he did escape.
So this is an incident that occurred on the 25th of July at about 9:30 p.m. Officers were in the unit, the tower where this young man was assigned, asking people to line up in order to be interviewed for pretrial, because if you'll remember, this young man was going to be released yesterday. They explained to him that he was going to be released and directed him to stand with his back against a portion of where people stand as they're waiting their turn. He told the officer, Officer Willis, with the sheriff, no. He was asked to comply multiple times, and it was explained to him that he was going to be going home, that this was the process to get him home. He again refused and walked into the elevators that are for civilians. They are called the kitchen elevators, stepped into an elevator. This was witnessed by another deputy. He was given multiple verbal commands at that point to step off the elevator as he was trying to go up on the elevator. At that point, a taser was used on him, and he was escorted out of the elevator. While he was being escorted out and put into handcuffs, he aggressively resisted, stepped away from the officers, trying to get away. He was eventually handcuffed as multiple people had to engage and escorted to medical. So obviously he is charged with obstruction for resisting and pulling away from the officers, and the escape charge based on him refusing commands and getting into an elevator, not complying and trying to go up in the elevator and having to be physically stopped. I would say, Your Honor, you know, we just had this young man in the courtroom yesterday. There were some concerns that were raised about maybe having an evaluation of some kind, and concerns raised that were not, as far as the state is concerned, sufficiently dealt with as far as whether or not this young man and his family members understood that he doesn't get to return to the home where he made threats against the woman in the case yesterday. I did speak to Attorney Kim briefly yesterday to try to make sure, because one of the things in court that was the testimony of this defendant and Ms. Kim was that he didn't have his phone, so he didn't have any contact information to get his family to help him. And so when his family appeared on the Zoom, we were trying to make sure information was exchanged, and they got off before anybody could talk to them. And I think that's interesting because the issue was made very clear that they needed to be able to communicate with him and with his attorney. And so I find it interesting that all of a sudden that wasn't an issue. And we were getting messages in the chat about, so he doesn't get to go home, you know, civilians who are not part of this case arguing with the order of the court. And then this behavior once court is over. And so we would again make a request at this point for a surety bond, Your Honor, for $4,000 on each charge. And I mean, you know, he's in the jail. I can't get him to stay away from the jail, but obviously no acts of violence. And we would request an evaluation, and I maybe Ms. Kim would agree with that at this point, but that's our opinion.
Okay.
Your Honor, I still do not agree with evaluation at this point. He was shocked by the fact that he was arrested. People kind of go through different shocking stage, denials, angers, and frustration. I actually was able to get the phone number of the brother, so I'll be happy to send it out to ASG Island. So
I didn't want his number. I just wanted to make sure you had it.
yes, I got it. It was just a little bit late. He emailed. I did a check until everything was over. Your Honor, he is only 25 years young, and he does have a music career. He went to high school. He did graduate from high school, and Your Honor, he is totally okay from staying away from the lady who was complaining about him, and there is no reason to intimidate the witness. And we would like to request for a signature on bond. People misunderstand things. You know, he was just shocked, and he doesn't have any child with a lady, so there's no reason to contact her. And only thing that he had was from 2022 suspended license. Other than that, Your Honor, even though it is third, it's kind of like a second arrest kind of lingered a little bit longer. So we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial. And if Your Honor does not feel comfortable with level 2, we are willing to consider level 3 is even fine with him as well.
He's already out on pretrial, right?
I'm sorry?
He's already out on pretrial, correct?
Correct. He had a $3,000 pretrial yesterday, and he was supposed to get out, but this incident happened, shockingly.
So, you know, just to play devil's advocate, he's getting a signature bond and he's being told to get in line so he can be released from jail. But you're claiming that the reason why he acted in this manner was because he was just so shocked about what had happened that a young lady got him on cell phone video assaulting his girlfriend and that he was arrested for it. Explain to me why we don't have every defendant who goes through first appearance come back here the next day because they're just so shocked they were arrested and upset about it. He was still upset even though he was getting to sign his own bond. It's difficult for me to believe that. What seems obvious is that there's a behavioral issue and a lack of respect in general for anyone in a position of authority. So I don't buy that argument at all. I love you, Miss Kim, but that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Pretrial, I'm guessing, is going to come off of the bond that they issued yesterday, since this young man couldn't even get out of jail without committing another crime, right, Mr. Howard? I mean, is he eligible for a pretrial bond when he's got an open case for an assault on a female right now?
Well, it ain't even that. It's just the fact that he got rearrested. So.
Just rearrested, period. Mm-hmm.
So, if he can get BHET, I'll be happy to send out a social worker to have an interview with him.
I think that would be beneficial, you know?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to give him a surety bond on the first charge of escape, 1,000, on the willful obstruction, 500. There'll be the 1,500 surety bond. And with that surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And can't say stay away from the Fulton County Jail. That might be good to do, but I guess that's it. No drugs, guns, weapons, or alcohol while on bond. That's all I can say. And then the BHET.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 4, Mr. Anthony Buford.
All right, 24 CR 005133Y, charged with 1 count of battery family violence.
15 total, resident of Chicago. Suspended license, window tint. This was out of, it says Monroe County. 2020 unlawful possession of a weapon conviction. 2019 issuance of a warrant. That's out of Illinois. And a 2011 ag assault arrest. That's all.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident took place on February 17th of this year. Officers were dispatched to a person that was screaming, or they responded rather to a person screaming at 370 Northside Drive, Unit 6889. Upon arrival, the police knocked on the door and the victim, Jocelyn Nurgan, answered the door. The officers immediately noticed that the victim had a bloody, black, bruised right eye socket. Her eye was swollen shut and she was limping. The house was in a complete disarray. There were clothes everywhere. A TV had been thrown on the floor. There were blood stains all over the floor and on a mattress. There was a hole in the bedroom door. The victim, unfortunately, didn't give too much information. She's very scared of the defendant, Your Honor. She said that she, at the point of this argument, lived with her boyfriend, who's the defendant. She was actually on FaceTime with another witness when this whole thing happened. The defendant smacked the phone out of her hand and basically started punching her repeatedly, according to what she said. Now, obviously, that doesn't explain everything else that the police observed, but I believe we can connect the dots here. There was quite a scuffle, and this defendant railed on his girlfriend and injured her pretty significantly. Our office has not been in touch with her today. As you heard, pretrial stay, he does have priors. I don't believe he's a resident of this state, Your Honor, so I don't believe he has ties to this community. This gentleman is a convicted felon out of the state of Illinois. That's where most of his arrest history is from. I'm also showing that he has an open felony case, which I believe was that he was arrested for yesterday. And I believe that's how this warrant popped up. And the case number for that one is 24 PI 005349, and that's for felony fleeing and eluding and reckless driving and driving without a valid license. The state is requesting a $2,500 surety bond in this case. Absolutely no contact with Miss Nergon. A stay away from the incident location, 370 Northside Drive. Anger awareness classes, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if the court can sound for Miss Nergon.
All right, Miss Nergon. Miss Nergon. I think it's just us left now. No, I don't know who Penny Anderson is. All right, go ahead, Petey Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. In regard to the stairway, my client believes that Ms. Nergon is out of the state and has been out of the state for quite some time. So we would certainly ask that he be given a law enforcement escort to determine if she's still at 370 Northside Drive. And if so, if he wished to move back in there, if she has gone, she may be in Texas, she may be in New York, he believes, that he would be able to return once making bond. He actually at this moment lives in Stone Mountain, so it may be a completely moot point. He is 32 years old. He has lived in the state for about 1 year. He is not currently working, so he would not be in a position to make much of a surety bond. Obviously, I don't know what's going on the felony side in terms of bond. If I missed that, I apologize. But so we would be asking. We have no problem with the stay with no further contact. Or stay away is fine, although we don't. Well, no, no further contact. If he could determine that she's no longer in the particular location and he wanted to return to that, we would like for him to be allowed to do so. Beyond that, we don't have any particular objection to the state's recommendation.
And Your Honor, normally I would not really object to him going there with law enforcement to see if she still lives there, but at this point, we haven't spoken with her, and based on what was in the warrant and her being very apprehensive to explain what had happened with all of her injuries and everything, she did say she was very scared of him. So I struggle with the idea of him showing up with law enforcement to see if he could all of a sudden move in. This incident happened in February, and I don't know if he's been staying there since this time, or perhaps Mr. Cook could give that, but I would say at this point, because we haven't been in touch with her and based on what she did tell the officers at the time, that there would just be a stay away.
Okay.
Your Honor, it may, as I say, he's living in Stone Mountain now. I suspect she is out of state, since I've tried through various means to reach her through a few mutual contacts. So the north side address is probably a moot point, a moot issue anyway. So we would not strongly object to a stay away there.
Okay. I'm going to order a $2,500 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And no further contact with, give me the victim's name again.
Jaslyn Nergon.
Okay. Jaslyn Nergon.
Negron or something like that. No.
And stay away from, I didn't write the address. We don't have to read it. It's stay away from wherever she is, unless Miss Champion doesn't have it. Stay away from her job, stay away from her home. Don't go anywhere near Jocelyn at all for anything else. She'll end up back in jail.
Okay, no problem.
And Your Honor, the state is also asking I understand you ordered a surety bond, but if you would consider an anger management requirement.
She the one that
Well, I
told
don't know. Do you have the resources to pay for it?
her, she the one that told her house up, not me. Oh, I'm not muted.
He
Oh.
has no resources at all monetarily, Your Honor.
Well, he's got history and he's a resident of Chicago. I don't know if he's coming back for court or not.
Back. I'm coming back for sure. Because I have a couple of cases that I need to clear up off my name. I don't want to be on the run at all. I'm not even on that type of time. I have 2 children I gotta live for,
Your Honor, his open case is a felony fleeing and eluding.
and bad enough. I'm missing my mother's funeral tomorrow because of all this stuff. You know, I was actually like shopping and stuff, and they just caught me in Buckhead. So you know, it's basically a bad weekend for me. I was supposed to carry my mother's casket, and I can't even do that. So yeah, it's kind of fucked up for me. So no, seriously, I'm hurting.
All right.
So
I'm going to order a $1,500 surety bond. With that $1,500 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Your Honor, you just previously ruled you're doing a $2,500 surety bond. Are you lowering it?
Oh, did I say 2,500? I didn't write
Yes.
down. Okay, 2,500 surety bond. Sorry about that. 2,500 and
why would you want it to be high, Taylor?
excuse me?
Mr.
Please be quiet. Can you all mute him? Because you're interrupting. You can't talk when I'm talking. And you keep talking, I'll go up some more. So 2,500 surety bond. No further contact with Jocelyn. What was the last name?
Nergon, N-E-R-G-O-N.
N-E-R-G-O-N, Nergon. Be 200 yards away from her. Don't contact her, go near her at all. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from wherever she is, whether it be work, home, or anywhere. And that's my ruling.
Your Honor, we have ACDC. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Carrie Bilbo needs to hear her rights.
Okay. Are they on the regular calendar?
Yes.
Oh, that's the first case, I see. All right, this is a calendar for cases in which persons have been charged with misdemeanors. And these cases, once they're arrested, have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court, and the Solicitor General's office has already accused you of the offenses brought against you. I want to remind you again that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourself accordingly. You have a right to representation by counsel, and you have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here and they're listening. All right.
For the record, Your Honor, I spoke briefly with Miss Bilbo. She insists on acting pro se.
Oh, you want to represent yourself, Miss? Is it Bilbo?
My married name, I am divorced, is Bilbo. But my maiden name is Carrie Ann Burt. That's who I'm representing today.
What was that last name?
It's Burt, B-U-R-T. I've gone back to my maiden name.
Okay. Well, there's consequences for representing yourself. You may say something against your interests. You have to know all the legal wranglings, but if you want to represent yourself, I'll let you do it.
I've represented myself before in Greene County Court.
Okay. Well, you're charged again here with 24 CR 005129G, 1 count of willful obstruction and a 2nd count criminal attempt to commit a misdemeanor. Let's see what pretrial has.
19
on your
total.
history. 19. Okay.
2 probation violations from last year. 2023 trespass NOLO. 2022 probation. 2022 obstruction conviction. 2022 trespass conviction. 2022 disorderly conduct trespass conviction. Another 2022 arrest for trespass conviction. 2021 battery DV no-low. 2019 trespass felony obstruction conviction.
Wait. I know that 2019 obstruction charge. I was at Golden Pantry in Greene County. That's what sent me to prison. It was Memorial Day. Do you want to know why I was at the Golden Pantry and what happened the night before? You're going to listen to me now.
State, I'm done.
Nope.
I have PTSD for a reason.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 24th of this year. Officers responded to a business alarm at the Equitable Building at 100 Peachtree Street. The private security officer that works at that location told police that the defendant was there trying to break into the property. She had an umbrella on her and started banging the end of the umbrella onto the glass, trying to break the glass and break in. This entire incident is caught on video. The basis for the obstruction, Your Honor, is when the officer brought her back to the precinct, she took off her bra and exposed her breasts and refused to put her clothes back on, despite several commands. And then I guess they got her top covered and then she took her bottom off and the same thing. Judge, this individual has 9 convictions from the past 2 years alone, several obstructions, several criminal trespass, several probation violations. She also has a disorderly conduct from 2022. She's got some violent history, battery, violating family violence order. Your Honor, she's walking away. Mr. Cook unfortunately can't waive her appearance. I'm asking for a surety
She
bond.
may be doing it herself by her own actions.
Okay, I'm asking for a surety bond, a stay away, a BHET at this point, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. For the surety bond, I would ask for $2,000 on each count. Thank you.
All right. I will enter that $4,000 surety bond. Did you say BHET or thanks? Or
I believe they, because it's a misdemeanor, they won't.
They won't do the.
I mean, I guess if you order it, they will. But I mean, I think an MHET is warranted. But I know sometimes they want you to do the BHET first, and then if that requires an MHET, whatever your Honor's preference is, my preference would be an MHET.
Yeah.
I know this isn't my client, but that's what the folks who do these things told us several months ago, to go through the BHET first, because the MHAT can take so long for them to even get there. They'd like some groundwork.
Well, she needs some help, that's for sure. 4,000 surety, 2,000 on each BHET. Stay away from the Equitable Building. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Next.
Got position 9, the waiver case.
9 is a waiver, okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, before we begin, we were in contact with the clerk's office. They had 3 cases of ours that were not being filed down, despite Miss Allen and I trying to file them down several times. If anyone's on the line, can you confirm if those have been filed down or not?
Miss Champion, or who else?
What's the name?
It's Sabrina Davis, Merriweather is the other one, and then Rihanna Jones.
Mr. Joyce said they bonded out.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We still,
Are they on
we're
the
still
calendar?
filed.
They didn't
filed.
take the calendar.
Should we email you the accusations? Did they come through?
I'm not quite sure if they bonded out, they're going to automatically be accused and sent over to the divisional judge. It won't be heard on C calendar.
Oh, I understand. We're just
Yeah,
still
the issue
filing
is
down
that
the accusation.
Odyssey is not, we've accused them, but there's actually no case number or anything.
Okay,
We-
okay,
we
I'll
received
get
it.
with Mr. Jordan. He's not on the Zoom right now. He didn't make me privy of this information, so I'll get with Mr. Jordan. You said, give me the last names again?
I'll forward you the email that I got and
Okay.
we responded to it.
Thank you for your help.
No problem.
But those are not the two on the calendar, right? Yes, no.
Well, they are on the calendar for today, Your Honor, but they're not on your calendars because
Oh, they didn't make
they
it to
haven't been
mine.
filed down, but they need to be.
I got you. I got you.
Oh,
They
okay,
didn't
and
make
we do have an email from Mr. Jordan saying all of those posted bonds, so
it. Okay.
we can disregard for your purposes, Judge. I'll
Yeah,
make
gotcha.
sure that I'll send this email to Ms. Champion.
Mm-hmm. And then we still have two more.
Number 9,
Rouse, 13 and 14.
correct. What about Pittman? Did we do Pittman? Number 2 on the add-on.
That's
No.
a
He's a waiver. He's a
Wow.
waiver.
Okay. So everybody else is waivers?
That is correct.
Okay.
Oh, how lucky you are. Okay. We'll start with position 9. 24 CR 005140F. Mastriani Marshall charged with 1 count of criminal trespass.
27 total. Open terrorist threats out of Superior Court. It's 24 SC 003115. On probation out of state court for criminal trespass. 23 CR 005746A. 2024 trespass no load. 2024 FTA. 2022 public indecency trespass obstruction conviction. 2 FTAs from 2020. 2019 disorderly conduct conviction. 2016 and 18 failure to appear.
Okay.
Your Honor,
State-
I will request for
Mm.
YouTube live stream to be stopped for